Well, I'm doing a late night, and every single day I learn something new about myself, and I'm sure that this is true for everyone. But I wanted to do a live stream and connect with you all. Howdy, 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 howdy. So, anyways, you're not gonna be able to see good. The lighting is pretty bad, and the audio probably sucked too. But I'm in my prayer room, y'all. I'm in my prayer room. I'm gonna let my hair down so y'all can recognize me. Okay, it's kind of dark in here, but y'all get my drift. You can see me very well. Maybe I can turn the light on up in here. Can everybody hear me well? Can you hear me well? I think I better hold this up in the air so everybody can hear me well. How you doing, y'all? How you doing? Okay. So I'm in my prayer room. Okay. So my prayer room is a little room that I have in here where all of my spirits dwell. You understand? I can summons them from the cosmic realms and spiritual realms. My ancestors can come in here and I can bless things that I send out to people in this room and pray over the things and stuff. And my angels, they live in this room. Okay. Excuse me, that little vent right there. Never ever been put there, whatever. I feel like I got to explain everything when I'm in this sacred place. But what I want to talk about is something that a lot of people probably wouldn't talk about. They probably wouldn't care. But I care. So I want to talk about it. And I want y'all to say hello to my teddy over here. Let me turn this over here. Speak to the teddy bear. The teddy bear that resides in this room. Mr. Teddy, tell him hi. Tell him hello. Okay, let me bring this back here. Okay, so for 17 years, I may be off a little bit, I have been coming and gifting of my spiritual world to strangers. I don't know who they are. Throughout the years, I have blessed many. Throughout the years, it may not necessarily have been a blessing to many. Hello? But it's nor neither here or there. I don't even want to go through all of that. And some people, you understand, have gone on to bigger and better things, or they're frying bigger fish. Some people are still here with me. But at any rate, there are those who have come, you understand, to take and not give back. And I want to talk about the consequences of taking and not venerating. I have shared my ancestors, my unspoken hierarchies of my astral realm and my ancestral realms, God realms, goddess realms. You understand? And gifted many. And many have appreciated it. You understand? We're not talking about money. We're not talking about, oh, you owe me now. You owe me some money. No, no, we're not. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that because I have given freely with no problem. But the problem is when those who come and they take from the well and they take from the well and they never leave any kind of acknowledgement, credit, or offerings. Hmm? Know that those individuals have created a covenant with me. And you may not necessarily feel as if though you will have to pay. These are the people who have used my teachings, who have borrowed, they think they've borrowed. to facilitate their own creations of businesses, movies, books. And they had no clue or decided they could care less that they will be indebted to me. And know to some extent, I myself am indebted to the things that I've borrowed, to the things that I've used. But I'm here today to venerate those who have taught me, who have given to me. I cannot call all names, but I know that what has made me who I am now, to some extent, I myself, you understand, have taken. I'm telling y'all today to venerate. I don't care how you feel about the people that you borrow from, you should venerate them. Hmm? Because you may have formed covenants with these individuals. And if you know you don't want to form accords and covenants with certain individuals, you need to make amends. Because it's not necessarily I'm in that spiritual cosmic way now. I can just take and get whatever I want and be blessed. Because I'm calling down my authority over it right now, this very day. That those who are not vibrating on my vibrations, once again, that take from me, will be evicted from the temple of the Crossroads or from my frequency. And I'm encouraging all people who have found themselves in a situation like this to speak and speak freely about the rules of their virtual villages and civilizations, because it will make you tired and drained. The fact that I have people praying to me, I hear your prayers, but you shouldn't be praying to me because I am a living being in this third dimension right now. Some people say they're in the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, but right now, you know, you can say I'm in the fourth dimension when I'm dealing with virtual reality or what have you, but I'm in a physical body, so I should not be on your ancestral altars, and you should not be praying to me. Hello? You can make requests. Can you pray for me? But I am not some saint that is now no longer with you or whatever, because that's draining. I have been tired out, and I must, you understand, relinquish such a position right now. I mean, I'm calling on the rock, stones, crystals, and bones, that nothing that pray to me, you understand, my spirits and my ancestors, my gods, and my hierarchies, nothing should be heard. Just pick up your phone and call. Hey, I need to speak to you, mama. You understand what I mean? Once again, this is to all spiritual leaders. You need to do that, because at the same time, too, this is why a lot of people who are in this a particular profession wind up losing their lives at an early age, because they have too many and too much depending on them. It shortens your lifespan. So when you come over here, and I'm not talking about people who hate, mama, we just love your content. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about the thieves that come to rob, to insult me and destroy me. I'm talking to you all right now. That decide, oh, she got a red head wrap on. Oh, let me wrap my head up in red. Oh, it's white today. Let me wrap my head up in white. You know, anybody can wrap their head in red and white. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the people who see it, that dislike me, and decide like a week later, let me do what she do. That is what I'm talking about. Calling out 999 Not talking about you lovely people who we all have a covenant together and we do it. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not talking about the fact that nine been on the planet way before I got here. I'm talking about those who come in recently and they quote the quotes I quote, the cliches I, and y'all probably wonder where this coming from. It's coming from the fact that when I go to TikTok and look at comments, some of the cliches that I've created and cliches my uncle has spoken that I've passed down to you all throughout the years are in the comment sections in the spiritual communities. And I'm like, wow. There's one quote I caught in particular in the TikTok spiritual community that just blew me away. Somebody in the comment section said this right here. Don't argue with a fool because then it's hard to tell who the fool is and who the fool ain't. That's something my uncle said 25 years ago as a lesson to me. It is a cliche now. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I know the things I do go viral. There's a video of me walking the voodoo dog that is now uh 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 it has almost 3 million views. Matter of fact, I think it does have 3 million views on it. So I do go viral with a lot of things, but I do believe that I should get some form of credit. So many movies created about me. Movie after movie after movie. One movie, I told you all long ago for the people who've been here that my brother-in-law got murdered and he was dealing with a Grim Reaper. He didn't know what a Grim Reaper even was. He just described it. I'm like, that's a Grim Reaper. I said, ask it the next time because it kept coming to him in his sleep before he died. Ask it, what does it want? It said, brace yourself. I want your soul. Is what it, I can't even do it. I want your soul. Is what it said. It's in a movie now. I told you all about the stories of me dealing with a nun because I went to Catholic school that was not kind to me. And now she's bound in my astral realm to protect me now. It has been so many non-horror flicks that have come out. You see what I mean? So even though I cannot reach the world of YouTube because I'm not in the algorithms, and that's totally fine, I will reach the cosmic realms about this matter on the rocks, stones, the crystals, and the bones. And that's all that matter. But I've put in a lot of work. Lots of content. Some of my content lost because YouTube have removed videos when I went outside and I called on Oya and it began to, on a completely beautiful sunny day, I called her down. I called on the rain. I called on the thunder and the wind. And Oya came and it got dark and the wind started to blow. It got dark, dark, dark. Rain come down and the wind caught on camera. It's gone. YouTube removed it. It said that it violated community guidelines. I resurrected a bird from the ground, hit the window, boom. It lay, it was dying. And I called its name. Oracle, awaken yourself. The bird rose up and began to hop. It's a video on here now. It's still on here. Some of it I didn't capture, like calling it Oracle Rise Up. I didn't film all of that because everybody was looking at me like I had lost my mind. And the bird rose and it hopped away. And I didn't record it. Not only did it hop away and get with his mother, and y'all saw that, but it flew off. When I went to South Carolina, people were bowing to me. I am not lying. Let me give y'all an example of what was going on. I couldn't understand what it meant. You know, this right here. As I walked through the door, I'm like, who is this? And who is this and what is this all about? You know what I mean? Because I don't need praise. I don't want anybody to get misconstrued. She wants praise now, huh? No, I'm just telling you all what I've been through, what I've gone through as I grow older or grow bolder and gracefully. And many of you all will do the same, as now we all together in this covenant. Whether you want to be or you don't, but many of you have unwillingly become a part of my covenant. I know I seem simple, just a little old lady or a big old lady in Alabama that's very kind and nice. But know that there is more to that than you can understand or comprehend. You have become a part of me. But those who do not vibrate on my frequency, you understand, and seek my death shall die an early death themselves. Anybody who speak ill will against me, I'm not talking about you great ones out there that who have come. See the numbers dropping now. They're like, oh, let me get up out of here. It's best if you don't know what you're dealing with right now to go, because I am not as simple as you feel about me. I've been here so many lifetimes, and I plan on coming back. Yeah, they kill the physical body, but they can't figure out how to keep me from coming back. They try to figure out how to fix it where the people like her can't return. There is not a way. It's just like trying to destroy the sun and destroy the moon. You have launched many of your missiles to the moon and to the sun, yet it still exists because we are the sun and the moon. And just like you can't get rid of certain things that you don't desire, like these household insects that we deal with, these pestilence that we deal with, you can't destroy the weeds that grow in the ground, which are really herbs that can heal, that can kill. You understand? So shall you cannot get rid of me. Because once this physical body is gone, I'm already in line for another physical body, and I plan on coming back to being a human. Maybe a human that is a demigod of some kind. Oh, this physical body don't belongs to me, but my consciousness does. Hmm? People think that their soul belongs to them. Your soul is encapsulated. It is used for fuel to power a physical body of some kind, to power a car, maybe a house full of electricity or whatever. Like when we say we're using solar power, solar energy, that's soul. That's a soul. Soul does not belong to anybody. It's the consciousness. That's the only thing you have. And when your physical body is debilitated and no longer able to house, you understand, the consciousness, what does it do? It goes places. It goes back into the astral realm. It may go into many spaces between, you understand, worlds, because it is multidimensional. You understand what I mean? Or it may just go into the abyss. Some consciousness have been lost. Yes, you can lose your consciousness. I know you said, but it's yours though. No, it can be lost or imprisoned. This is a lot of what is going on with AI technology. A lot of that artificial intelligence that you're now speaking to are the lost souls that are held in a digital void of some kind. So just know what you're getting yourself into when you have decided to embark into these spiritual communities. Because when you're dealing with a spiritual leader, a spiritual community of some kind, and they're gifting and giving and giving, it's not free. just know to some extent each, I don't care what they say, each content creator is gathering consciousness, spirits, and soul. Yes, you can. Some people can use your solar energy for, things other than what you would have them to use it for. You can become incarcerated, soul incarcerated, in consciousness incarcerated. This thing is deep. This is why I'm here right now. And people look to judge your wealth and assets. You understand? As a spiritual leader, based upon, oh, do they have a big house? Oh, do they have a nice car? Oh, what do they have? No, they're spiritual assets that they get. And some of those spiritual assets can go from anywhere to like power, personal power, or what have you, covenants with deities, supernatural forces. You understand? You got some people that really crave spiritual power. And they are willing to do you in, rid you, and have your spiritual power transferred into their consciousness. Yeah, better be careful. Because it took me a minute to get here to understand what I have done to myself personally and how I may myself have gained some type of supernatural, uh, supernatural gifts, and not necessarily gifts, but feats, F-E-A-T, F-E-A-T, feats. You understand what you see what I'm saying? I myself have gained and not necessarily given back. So when you're going to these places and you're seeking spiritual knowledge, always give thanks and blessings. Bow down. There's nothing wrong with bowing down. There's nothing wrong with that. When you bless me, I'm going to bow down and bless you. This is the way we ought to treat one another. And see, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of y'all need to stop. You see you're in a lot of trouble now. You have a dictator in office, and he's making many, many plans. Y'all, I got to rid myself of this. I can't stand this little white furry thing. Um, I can't stand furry things. But this right here is in my prayer room, and I want to read it. My prayer room is in all white, and I can't stand fur on no bed, y'all. It's just like laying on an animal to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyways, it's time to stop fighting at each other. Even though I have brought this to you all and say, hey, look, we've formed a covenant. We've formed cords. But those people who insult me and speak blasphemy against me and my spirits shall be what? Evicted. You will vacate today. I'm not going to allow you to continue to sit here, you understand, and fester with your misdeeds. If you come here to me, you must confess. You must bow down. And you must depart from your wicked ways. Because my spirits, you understand what I mean? They don't like things like vulgarity. You know what I mean? They don't like that type of stuff. And people might be like, who she thinks she is? Well, I'm something that you got interest in. This is the reason why you come to watch. So you got to ask yourself that. You understand? When you figure it out, you can answer that question on your own. Am I right? No, they don't like vulgarity and what's this other words for like this sexual thing that some people have. This it's just so sexual intensity, and it's a word for that too. But I can't come up with that name for nothing. What is that word? You got a lot of people because I had a client one time and everything he referenced was something it was sexual in nature. Well, I'm on the spot. Of course I'm not gonna remember what it is and stuff like that. My spirits, they don't like that type of stuff. So if you're dealing with those type of things, if you have like if you have addictions and things of that nature, you have to, if you're asking me, mama, I want you to bless me, you understand, or protect me, you understand, you're going to have to um you know you have to ask for forgiveness, not for me, but for yourself, because it's not, you got to acknowledge, hey, look, mama, I'm a this, I'm a that, and I want to read this. You got to acknowledge you have a problem first. Mom, I'm an alcoholic. I want to recover from alcoholism. You have to first of all say, I'm an alcoholic. Mama, I'm a murderer. You got to, hey, mama, I'm a murderer. You got to say, I abuse women. I abuse your, you have to acknowledge these things to me. And then the healing and the forgiveness begins within oneself. But to come here as if though you don't have a problem, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm just in here trying to get this, trying to get that. You're wasting your time. You're not ready for recovery, in other words. You understand? And a lot of people may have an issue with me saying this, but I need to be completely honest. We need to understand a lot of sicknesses that we have, we are out of balance with our ancestors. Out of balance, being out of balance with our ancestors or being out of balance with elders, you understand, can cost you a lot of problems. Most of people's health issues have a lot to do, and don't get me wrong, because I have health issues too. I'm not exempt. I'm in this physical body, and I must say, many times I have been misaligned with the ancestors, with the spirits, with the gods, with the goddesses, with the Ori, the consciousness, the Ori, and aligning yourself. Look, let me tell you something. All hope is not gone. All hope is gone. Oh my God, I got all of these problems. I'm sick. I'm having all these problems. I just can't fix this. The only way you cannot fix these problems if you're not willing to once again align yourself with the wholesome energies of your ancestors. I offended an ancestor and I saw the consequences quickly. I'm not a saint. I have done my due diligence of harm in my life. Don't get me wrong, knowingly and unknowingly. So I don't come here to judge none of y'all. I'm only here to tell you this is how this thing works. And if you want to fix it, this is what you got to do. You got to acknowledge you're wrong. No, you cannot go and disrespect elders. And if you don't know what an elder is a person that is much older than you. If I'm dealing with a person 5 years older than me, they may not even act like an elder. They may not even deserve the title. But at the end of the day, I need to understand that they have some type of, stewardship above me that has been here and in place before I got here. So, because I got to understand that a person that's 5 years older than me is like 64 years old. So a lot of people may feel like that ain't no elder. Anybody 64 years old is an elder. I'm getting kind of warm in here, y'all. I need to turn the air down because it's really been a hard one. For me to say, oh man, you're not no elder. You're only 10 years older than me. Anybody 10 years older than me is damn near 70. Excuse my expression of words. But they're damn near 70. That's not an elder. You just 15 years older than me. So them. And by the 15 years older than me on their way to 80. Oh, that tell you how old I am. Anybody 15 years older than me is getting ready to knock the door down to 80. So whether you feel like that person is an elder or not, it doesn't matter what you think. It's their stewardship, their status, in a sense, here on the earthly plane. That's why if an woman crosses my path and I decide I want to trip her up, you best better believe I'm going to face some consequences. Not the fact that that family member's going to beat my ass, but I'm going to jail. And then the police of the universe, cosmic authority, spiritual authority, is going to deal with me. That's why you have people who hurt the elders and they just wind up offing themselves because they know they're going to pay. They know they don't stand a chance. And the reason why I'm talking about eldership is because if you cannot, you understand, if you cannot respect elders, then you're out of alignment with the ancestors. Because elders are heading to the ancestral plane. You could be any age and be on your way over to the ancestral plane. But we know that every step that elder take, they're on their way to the ancestral plane. So if I don't have any respect for the elders, and you don't have to say my elders, but they are the elders of the earthly realm. Why should any ancestor or those in the invisible world have any respect for you? So you're out of alignment. This is why you're finding yourself not well. That's what I'm working on right now because I've offended some elders. I've offended some things. And I know in order to correct this with my health, that I got to find a way to make some amends with these energies, these authorities. You understand? Do that make sense? So when you go to the doctor, or you just say, for instance, you go to a spiritual person, a spiritual advisor, priest, a priestess, a hoodoo doctor, or someone of that nature, and you say, hey, look, I think somebody put a root on me. Everything ain't somebody done some work on you, hoodooed you, put some work on you, hexed you, cursed you. In most circumstances, you've cursed yourself because you've disrespected authority. It's you. So don't be looking for me to say, oh, yeah, somebody's doing some work on you. Yeah. Now, some people just tell you what you want to hear because they need some of this. But I want to work so that you yourself, you understand, can be in alignment, you understand, with your Ori. I must be honest. And if somebody has put a root on you, we got to figure out what you did, the reason why they have decided that they want to do some work on you. Because, everybody ain't innocent. I want to know what you did. Who have you offended? Now, in some cases, it's work of jealousy. But in many cases, come on, let's talk about it. Yeah, I'll have Johnny Rivers say, it's about time that I catch up to you. I'm not getting any notifications, period. No one is necessary. They may pick like a couple of people out of almost 9,000 subscribers and give, some notifications and stuff. And we do really rely on notifications because it's so much going on. There's so much to partake in on YouTube. You know what I mean? And no one wants to miss out. It's a lot. So little places like this right here that are bigger places in the spirit world. You're not necessarily going to get notifications from a channel like this. Okay. Okay, I want to acknowledge everybody here in the chat. Hey, Yolanda, lucky first to the chat. Hey, Astro, thank you for moderating. Uh-huh. Hey, beautiful. How are you? Hey, Gypsy. Okay, Jeffrey Burl. Hold up. Jeffrey Burleson says, does root work have anything to do with religion, or what is it from? I'm very interested, but not very knowledgeable on the subject. Yes, root work does incorporate religion. Okay. Who better to ask than me? I'm a Southern woman. I've been in Alabama most of all my life. I only took a break from, and it don't even really have anything. I found out that Alabama's the big kahuna now when it comes to spirituality. Who did that? I came here boasting and bragging about my state that I was born in, lived in, raised in, been here just about all my life. Alabama, Alabama. Now Alabama, it's a whole, it's a whole thing on there's someone that somebody told me that lady has passed away, but if she hasn't, pardon me. But they said that I got a lot of packages to pack up tonight, y'all. I've been getting a lot of work. Oh my. That's supposed to be packing up boxes because these people are waiting. But I wanted to take some time out and talk. But yeah, Alabama is the thing. This lady said, she said this right here, beautiful lady. She said, she's a practitioner herself. She said, I don't think you can hoodoo spiritual practitioner in Alabama. Her very words is on TikTok. So I don't think you can hoodoo a person who lives in Alabama. A spiritual practitioner that lives in Alabama, and it was like everybody giving Alabama, yeah, I'm from Alabama, shout out Alabama, Alabama. I'm like, I'm the one who put it on the map. And most of them were from Selma, Alabama. I'm like, who are these guys? Because I have a temple in Selma and I hadn't met any of them yet. I'm from Selma, Alabama. I'm from Selma. I said, ooh, look, people don't realize everything began in Alabama. Alabama was the holy place. Alabama has the Holy Land. Look it up. Alabama was the very first state in the U.S. to have carnival. Mardi Gras took place in Alabama. Now New Orleans is trying to take credit for it, but we getting Alabama back on the map. Excuse me, y'all. I had some that didn't agree with me. I think that was the other day. I ate and I do have my own addictions. I can't talk about people. I'm working on it too. I had a pain of ice cream. That's just too much. I shouldn't be eating that. I had a pain of ice cream about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was a comforting food because I had really, really worked hard. Woo! Let's not talk about what it's doing to my digestive tract. I am really living through it. Because I used to just like eat like 4 spoonfuls, put it back up. You know what I mean? But no, baby, that thing was good. I ate the whole paint. Not now one of those big ones, not a family size, but just a little paint. That was gluttony. And I had no business eating that time of the night. But my spirit said, hey, look, one was tugging. Oh, we want some ice cream. The other one was like, no, you don't need that. And so I gave in to the villains. But yeah, so we all have our own little thing that we battle with, you know. They're all bad because you abuse your temple. Let's talk about the hoodoo. So they was asking about hoodoo. Now, this is I grew up in a household with a mother that was my adopted mom. okay, that was of Jamaican descent. Where the Jamaican began, the last I heard, it started with the mother being of Jamaican descent. Okay. And they were very proud people, baby honey. They would always boast, okay? And my aunt would boast of being from my aunt, which is my adopted aunt, sister, my mother was sisters with. She boasted she was from Haiti. Our family is from Haiti. Our family is from Jamaica. She would just boast the Caribbean islands. And my mom, she would do lots of things now that I see that would be indicative of hoodoo. Like I said, she would catch the first rain in May and wash her the first rain in May and wash everything down. She'd even put some in her, call herself starting her new beginning with this water. She would wash our heads. I mean, she would have buckets and buckets of first May water. Okay, wash our hair with it, and yes, it made our hair grow. She would wash, just clean the house down with all of the reserves of that May water because she felt like it was good luck. She would always talk about different herbs and stuff like that. She always talked about this thing, the bay rum, the bay rum. So I just went ahead and got me some bay rum, baby, because I'm like, okay. She would clean things with the bay rum. She would just talk about it, but she didn't teach us. You see what I mean? So I learned everything about hoodoo because hoodoo was not a word like, okay, we're going to discuss the hoodoo today. It was just the way we lived. It was just like the rules of how to be safe and how to have a prosperous year and how to avoid pitfalls, danger, accidents, death. It was the way to heal, the only way they knew how to heal, even though they were not able to necessarily to afford, especially here in Alabama, to go to hospital because it costs money to go to the hospital. You just can't go to no hospital. You ain't got no money. I was born in a house. I was born in a shanty, a one-room shanty with a pot belly stove in the cold months of February. My mother gathered up sticks. She gathered sticks. She gathered wood. Men would chop wood for her because they knew she was carrying a baby. My mother was in the house with my two older siblings and also her other sisters. I think she had four other sisters, and one sister didn't have a baby. She was only 12. But the rest of the sisters, they all had babies. So we're talking about a one-room house with no telling how many babies was in there. So she she ate pecans. She gathered pecans up for me to get to carry me because there wasn't no food available. You just didn't have nothing to eat. You just didn't have nothing to eat. So she gathered up pecans to last her for the winter. She said all I drank was water, and I ate pecans with you. Today I have a pecan allergy. Um, she said I would eat peaches, loads of peaches. I have a peach allergy. The fur on the peach make me itch. Now I can eat the inner portion of the peach, but the fur actually swells up my face. And it feels like these prickly things on it. You know what I mean? Everything is sticking me like needles. So I have a birch tree allergy. I'm allergic to kiwi. So anything dealing with a birch tree, you understand, makes me sick. And she ate plenty of peanuts, and I have a peanut allergy. But mom still be going over there eating them peanuts. I think I outgrew that, but I was hospitalized for a peanut allergy. Bumps just got all over my face, went all down my behind. I couldn't even sit down. I was 7 years old. And they found out I have a grass allergy and peanut allergy. But these are some of the things my mom did. She walked in grass, she sat in grass, she laid in grass. She super indulged in those things. And now I have allergies to a lot of that stuff. You know what I mean? But I was a very healthy baby with a heart condition. Still had a heart condition to the day. You see what I mean? And I do have sickle cell, anemic trait. So, that's some stuff that was inherited from the family, but it's a wonder I'm here. I lived to see 58 years. So I do have some health issues, but you know, everybody knows about that. So I just want to give you a little bit of history of myself personally. Uh the hoodoo. The hoodoo, let's talk about that. The hoodoo is a set of practices of religion. There's no way to take that out. You have a lot of people that want to claim hoodoo and leave out the religion. The ancestors relied on the religions of Christianity. Hoodoo is a very dangerous practice because it incorporates whatever it possibly can. There are no boundaries. Catholicism is a part of it. Like I said, Christianity is a part of it. The Bible plays a huge role in hoodoo. You cannot take the Bible out of hoodoo. So once again, hoodoo was it was not, oh, I'm practicing hoodoo. No, it was I am surviving. These are the rules that were handed down to me, how to live. And because they had to be safe because there was so much going on, the lynchings and the enslavement and just heinous things. So that was survival. So of course we're gonna pick up Psalms 23 and turn that Bible open there in the front room on the coffee table. 23rd Psalm. Every household, which we calling it the practice of hoodoo now. Back then it was just the way to live, handed down to you. But in every hoodoo house, if you go in there in the front room, the Bible, the biggest Bible that you can have, is open to the 23rd Psalm. And Auntie said the reason how come they held it open to the 23rd Psalm, not just the passage of what's written into that, which is very powerful, but it was to monitor whether or not something was disturbing something. Because if you look at your pages, it was a, a way to divine. You wanted to know something, if some supernatural force was working against you, you could go right in there, and if that Bible was turned to something other than the 23rd Psalm, you got some kind of dark force in your house. I'm not talking about a person who just happened to turn it to another thing or what have you, but the matriarch of their house will have that, or the patriarch of that house will always have that Bible to the 23rd Psalm, and nothing has changed because at the temple it's turned to the 23rd Psalm, and here it's turned to the 23rd Psalm. And I've never seen it turn to anything else but the 23rd Psalm. So, yes, religion is hoodoo. Hoodoo is our religion. So, people may want to practice Buddhism, and their practice of hoodoo is totally acceptable. Hoodoo can be very dark in nature, as the fact that some of the practices of hoodoo, other practitioners of hoodoo will say, okay, if you harm someone, it's okay. If I want to do some work to destroy somebody, what have you, for any means necessarily, whether they are warranted. I just saw a streak of light just come down. Whether it's warranted or not warranted, we must be in the hours of the saints. Regardless, I can do it under the practice of hoodoo and totally be okay, be fine with that. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm just saying there are some practitioners who do. They feel like, okay, I can do this. And their statement is, if they do some dark magic on somebody and it harms them, they say, well, if the good Lord was on their side, nothing bad would have happened to them. You get what I mean? So if something bad happens to the person, then that means the good Lord, it was okay with that because they could have saved them. These are some of the minds of the people who practice that dark part. That real, it's real. You got people that are gonna come to. I hope that answered your question. Y'all want to ask me any questions about hoodoo? Please, go ahead and ask. Please go ahead and ask me if you got any questions at all about hoodoo. I'm Ruth Dr. Davis, and I was telling everybody why I took upon that name. My mom was Dr. Davis. She had a PhD. And so I watched a lot of her healing practices. Like I said, my mom would make all kind of stuff. Some of the stuff, y'all want to hear the weirdest thing she made, I'll tell y'all. But she would make up her own concoctions, her own salves, and things of that nature. You see what I mean? So y'all can go ahead and ask me any questions you want to. Any question? Do y'all have any question y'all want to ask? Let me come in here and moderate in here. If I see anything in here I don't like, I'm gonna take it down. Okay, okay. Madam Death says, "What does gambling do to your spiritual well-being?" Well, I think it's all to do with the individual. I can't judge that because I have lots of people who gamble that come to me and they want my oils, my gambling oils, my candles, or what have you. We sought out gambling. You know, I just don't want to say black people, but just people in general have sought out gambling as a means of survival because they weren't able to get gainful employment to make it or what have you. So this is why your gambling houses opened up. Matter of fact, I have an auntie found out the woman is alive and well. She 89 years old and she got a gambling house and Squabby. Squabby is still alive and people come in there. She got a bingo room. She have folks back there playing bingo and Squabby kept pack a gun too. Spitting snuff. I went to visit. I said, "Hey, auntie." She don't bit more know who I am. Squad is everybody's aunt, but she's my blood aunt and my blood cousin because in Selma, Alabama, I'm not trying to be funny. A lot of us are double kin to each other because they don't mind. You understand? They don't mind. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I see gambling as a way to be able to make ends meet. I don't think it's anything dark and devilish about it, but it can be. It's depending on what you're doing. It is a very dark art. Don't get me wrong. You understand what I mean? But saints like Santa Morta and different other dark entities and stuff hold protection over that particular style of living. You understand the nightlife with prostitutes and drug dealers and stuff like that because the darkness must exist alongside of the light, and that's me speaking from a hoodoo perspective. Hoodoo is not love and light only; it comes with darkness. Okay. So what does it do to your spirit? It just depends on what type of energy spirits are or demons that are operating behind the veil with you. That can make it very dangerous and not gifting back to them for their protection and for them being able to create wealth for you. And you, if you don't give back to it, it's going to destroy you. You know, like I was talking to, I want to talk about a certain thing, but I got to be careful because I don't want to offend an ancestor. I was telling y'all about my dad, my natural father. I found my natural father, and he liked to fish. He liked to look. I saw that little darkness. Go like, yeah, look up. I'd be very careful. Natural father, I'm not here to offend you. I know you my ancestor. I just happened on you. Um, and he was a super warlock, a super powerful warlock. He was a mason, and he was heavily. Come to find out, he was heavily engaged into magic. They say. Um, I don't want to speak nothing negative about you, because I told y'all what happened to me. Y'all see, I'm very, 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 and being very, very careful, and He loved to fish. He was a fisherman. He was a brick mason. He was an architect. They said he was very different. So that's where I get a lot of my characteristics from. He was the type of person, whereas, everybody be sitting down, he'll squat and sit on the floor. Or just squat. My son does these same things. My son will just squat, sit on the floor, lay on the floor. A lot of those characters, and my daughter does it too. My oldest daughter has a tendency to squat on the floor, and they told us you got to stop that, or you're gonna mess your behind up. Don't sit on, don't squat, don't sit. So she has a tendency to do that too. So it's a characteristic that was picked up from their grandfather. Now, I almost sit down on me a chair, but he loved to fish, and he would catch a plenty. I come to find out that he has slipped in the river more than one time, and he was pulled out of the river. He would take somebody with him just in case. Because he said he would become so euphoric once he felt that pull on his fishing pole, until sometimes he would grab, fall off into the river, and he would bring somebody with him to pull him out because he couldn't swim. Well, this particular time he went to Daddy. I'm just natural father. That's why I call him natural father, because the daddy who raised me, you understand? Oh my God. I was like in a tug of war with them in the spirit realm, because the daddy who raised me, he looked at me. He was just in a crowd of people, and he had these diamond eyes, and he had some pants on cut to his knee, and he looked at me as if though he was a zombie and he didn't recognize me. So I had to say, "Hey, Daddy, Daddy, I know you was Daddy. I ain't abandoning you. I appreciate everything you've done for me when nothing else could be done." So I have to always acknowledge him, but I always call the other guy, I say Daddy, natural father, or some of y'all may hear me say things like that. But like when I went into the houses that he built, because that whole street belongs to him and his family. They got a whole street. All the houses are built by him. And then they took me further on up this hill. All of the houses, all of them were built by him. We're talking about big, huge homes. So, like I said, and they were bricked and everything. So he was, like I said, he was an architect, and he was a mason, and he was a fisherman. You know what I mean? A jack of all trades. But um, he done it again. He went by himself, and he would always tell him, "Hey, don't tell nobody this," because his mama begged him, "Please don't go fishing no more, baby. Please, please." And some other things he did. I'm not gonna talk about that because I don't want to get in no trouble. But they begged him. They begged him. He went by himself early one morning to Jones Bluff Powerhouse. That sounds scary. And he went by himself, and he never came home. It was 12 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. They knew something was wrong, and they found him. 5 days later, his body was decomposed. Y'all know what that means. And it was so bad they couldn't even open up his casket, and that's the way he passed. Um, so I was telling some of the things that was told to me about the man, and some very dark secrets online. I was online talking about it, and this ancestor shut my live stream down. Nobody could see anything; it was just buffering. He shut my live stream completely down. The man is a wizard. Um, After he did that, I said, "Well, no sense in me starting up another one because I felt like something was wrong, because I had offended him." And So I go into the room. No, I go in the bedroom, flip sheets and blanket. There was a water fist mark like this in my sheet. It was just water, just a fist print on my side of the bed. I pulled my blankets and sheets. I shit y'all not. So I was alarmed. I was like, what the hell is up? I looked up. I said, is it this is the ceiling leaking? And I didn't see nothing. I would have said, show there. I go in the den. When I go in the den, there was water tracks that went into the den. And so I'm going inside my little case. I said, well, let me do some work. And something shoved me. And I had water on my arms. I was shoved. Missed it, what you call, and was pushed on the floor. I was like, oh my God. I began to know what was going on. I knew. Hey, Tay, thank you for moderating. I knew what was going on. So I said, I ain't fixing to change no sheets, no blankets. I'm just going to go ahead on and just lay on the sofa here. I laid on the sofa in the den. I woke up, I kid y'all not. My bag, my pocketbook was full of water. Good thing I took my phones out. My hands was just like in water. I was like, oh my God. The ceiling was leaking. He had done some work on my house. He done some work on my house. My house was just like drip, 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 drip. It was all in my bag. Yeah. No leaks in the roof, but there was leaks in the roof then by him working on the house. He knew how to do it. He was angry with me. So I had to get back on the live stream and I had to apologize. And I'm apologizing now. I am so sorry. And everything. I made a mistake, called his name one time and everything. So definitely somebody who's watching me. So I said, oh my God, I just got, I always like to fish, never ever really caught any, unless somebody came with me and strung my pole. So lately I've been trying to go fishing. And it's been a lot of floods and stuff. So I told my son, I said, we might need some life jackets, which I bought one. And I said, we might need a boat. I said, just in case it flood him, we can get out. Which I was told that if there's truly a flood, it pulls with it lots of trash, debris, houses you wouldn't be able. A boat ain't gonna save you. But at any rate, I went over there to the boat place, and I said, I'm gonna get this boat right here. I want this. It was a pontoon. I'm not lying to y'all. I kid y'all not. Once again, I saw my daddy in a distance standing up. It was like a photo that I have of him. He had a white button down shirt and he was just standing there, still like a picture. And I was like, oh my God. I said, well, I just seen him. I saw him again. I said, you're not going to hunt me, are you? We said, well, he might be looking to let you know not to get one. He don't want you on the water. Because I kid y'all not, once again, I keep saying that. When I was 10, I almost drowned. I always take it as, they was looking for a sacrifice because my biological father doing a lot of fishing and not giving back to the river. They'll take and sacrifice your kids and stuff. So I nearly drowned in a pool and I was saved. Little boy saved me. And wherever you are, thank you so much. It's like if it wasn't for you, I was about to take my last breath and go down. I appreciate you. And then I almost drowned in the Alabama River. Y'all don't know that. Got on a boat with a stranger, with one of my clients, and he took a quick thing. It's like he was trying to kill us. And I fell into the boat, slid, bumped my head, made it, and the other one, she was about to fall off the back of the boat. She was holding on for dear life. If I had fell in that river, I would have died. So I'm like, okay, they're still trying to reap. How much fish did this man catch? I'm like, So I said, I may have to go and give some offerings. But yeah, if you're going to take from the woods so that the woods won't eat you and your offsprings or the people you love, you got to feed the woods. You got to feed the lakes, the rivers, the waterways. They have to have something. What do you feed them? They want blood. Offer them a chicken. Offer them a rooster. Offer them blood offerings. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if he did all of that or not, but you have to replace coins. You know what I mean? Replace what you take from the river. Give it offerings. You just don't grab things and just take. What are you going to give back? Come to find out, they said he didn't even like fish. He just enjoyed fishing, and he would just go back and just give the fish to people, and things like that. But okay, so anyways, I just wanted to talk about that. Thank you so much. Alexander said, y'all hit that like button. Yeah, could y'all please hit that like button? We didn't got up to 32, but we only got 15 thumbs up. Could y'all please help me out? Uh-huh. Hey, Fortunate, how you doing? Hey, Alexander. Thank you, Tay, for moderating. Yes, Tay said you said he messed with your power and your daughter's power too. He's still messing with my power, y'all. I don't know if it's that pole they don't put out there. They don't put a huge pole, a 90-foot pole, a transmission line in front of my house. Everybody else's house, they missed it. But my lights gone out on my front door. The power pole that Alabama Power put in front of my house went out. They had to come out and replace that. My daughter's power went off the backside of her house. She had to go and pay somebody. He was taking revenge, man. He was taking revenge. So I believe I probably could have got away with it if I hadn't have never went over there in that house, because when I went in the house, I was just rubbing the walls. They said your daddy built this, and I was just touching the walls to try to kind of get an idea, just to feel him. You know what I mean? So I was just rubbing the walls and everything, and looking at and admiring his work. House very sturdy. The man was good at what he did, but at the same time too, thank you, Tay, for getting rid of that slaying that troll. Uh so I think that's how he was able to connect with me. Fortunate Makahubela said, can you tell me about my future? No, I can't. Mm-mm. I don't think it would be fair for me to put your information out like that in front of the public like that. But thank you for asking. Child of my aunt, 21, how are you? You can ask me other questions, though. You can ask me questions, about, different things you'd like to know about yourself. Yes, Tay. How could I forget that? Thank you. Our moderator Tay says, show your appreciation by donating to Mother Wisdom Tree's Cash App, $ Venita Love, PayPal Spirit Tree 41 at yahoo.com. Thank you so much for that. Okay, hey, Empress says, in middle school, I used to regularly stand with my left foot rested comfortably in the space behind my right knee as if I were a crane. Years later, I saw Maasai warriors standing the exact same way. Hmm. Okay. Anybody got any other questions? Did I miss any question? Oh, my neck is hurting me from bending and crouching down like this. I'm gonna have to get me one of those little sticks that hold tripods that hold. Yes, Johnny says so many of your great videos are gone. And I'm very upset about it. Yeah, they took them down. I don't even know why. They didn't violate anything. I don't see what they violated. I wasn't arguing, beefing with nobody. I was just talking about life lessons. That's it. Walking around the perimeter of my front yard for like 2 or 3 hours, just talking about the spiritual world and different things, and that's it. And I just took them down. They said all of it violated community guidelines. I get just about every single day on my past videos, they'll say they violate community guidelines. I could just be talking about how I think, cotton candy is going to fall out of the sky for us, and candy corns will rain down upon us. And they say that violates community guidelines. That's why I'm not really investing too much into this, and I'm not investing into TikTok because they're going to change TikTok to another app called M2. It's the American friendly version, they say, for us because they don't want us to, I guess, communicate with the world, because I guess it's going to be very detrimental to our mental health, and physical health. So they want to take that from us because we are their children. So, yeah, I don't want to invest in that. Even on TikTok daily, I make comment on somebody's video. Somebody was saying they took some kind of medication and they got sick, and all I said was like, "What medication did you take?" Because they said they got real sick, and I had an emoji, I'm sorry, with tears flowing from the eyes, and they told me that I violated community guidelines. They took my comment down. Lots of comments. Every time I comment on a video, they tell me that I'm violating community guidelines, which y'all need to know. Meta already owns TikTok. If you look on there, it'll tell you that it's owned. Meta owns TikTok. Facebook owns TikTok. Or whoever this Meta is owns it. And but what they're doing now is they're working on their app. The government has gotten involved like a communist society would, and they're making the American version, which is M2 app. You won't be able to know what is going on in the news, and I don't know how they think we won't know, because red note is why I don't even spend time on TikTok anymore. I'm like, why waste my time? You understand? I can't comment on anything. I could just say, "Oh, you look so cute today," and my comment is gonna be gone. They're gonna say, "No, that's a community guideline." So I just don't really want to. I just do little things as a content creator on TikTok, but people don't realize that eventually all of that hard work is gonna be gone. They're gonna remove it. It's gonna be gone. So you investing a lot of time in that, you're making good money off TikTok and all of that, they're going to take that from you. It's going to be difficult to find anything related to just ordinary people. They're going to do it like they do YouTube. Everything is going to come from a corporation perspective. Like if I want to know how did they make shoes, I'm not going to find an ordinary person that's going to explain to me how to make shoes. I'm going to see some shoe type of um, um, video of a company that makes shoes. It's not going to be about the people. They don't want anything to be about people. When you Google things, they don't want you to know it's about the people. They want corporations to explain everything, to do the documentaries. That's the best way I can explain it. They don't want that. They don't want the masses to connect with each other. They want to continue to keep all the masses divided by things like race and religions and things like that, because it benefits them. They don't need everybody coming together to say we're going to storm DC. You know what I mean? That's This is where we're going. They're getting ready to take everything. You know what I mean? This is what they're here for. And that's the best way I can describe it without them eventually taking this down. So, I mean, you can see it in the makings right now. They want everything to be about what the billionaires decide we can have. If you are a billionaire and you can give so much money to this regime, you understand? You can enact laws. You can say, "Hey, I want." They all these billionaires come to the table. You understand? I don't know how often, but I know they do have summits, and I know the WHO comes together. You understand? And these billionaires may say, "Hey, look, we've decided we want to get rid of all health care. It will save us a lot of money. We can get richer. We want to get rid of religion. You got that money to put on the table. You can give them off 20, 30 million dollars. Then how you want to shape this world, you can make it happen. Billionaires run this. We just here in that way because I told y'all already they want to make bubble cities. Look up the bubble people. Trump said itself. He said, "Look," he said, "I want the golden dome." And we know you can't put a huge dome over the entire America, but you can put pockets of bubbles in each city. Each city has its own bubble. And in that city, there are what? The buildings, the theaters, the cathedrals, the hospitals, the whatever. And when you're contained in that bubble, you remain in that bubble. You don't get out. And each one of those bubbles have um, weather, weather that is created and manipulated by man. They decide what the temperature is going to be in there. They may decide, we want snow daily. We want it to be icy, snowy on a daily basis. And that's what you get. Everyone is not going to be able to be in those bubble cities. Each bubble city will be decided by your status, you know, what you contribute to society, what they think your worth is. And anything outside of that will go to the alligator Alcatrazes, the El Salvadors, the barges, the ships and stuff that, see, I told y'all about that. I'm just repeating what I said. This is what they're working on. This is why everything, educations are getting these cuts, everything, healthcare, everything's getting these cuts because they're getting ready to create their bubble cities. So the undesirables like myself personally will not be in a bubble city. People like myself personally will be either thrown in the ocean. You understand? Get guillotine. Yeah. Detention center. El Salvador. Traffic. Kidnap. Alligator Alcatraz. That's what they got for people like me. Because I don't benefit anything to society, to their society that is worthy. Some people think to some extent that we're in a bubble world, that we're contained in a bubble world already, and that there are other realms of existence that are in bubbles and stuff like that. They think that to that extent. Who knows? Maybe so. But they're getting ready to do little smaller projects. That's why they call it a plan it. A plan it. They have made plans for all of us in this great huge bubble dome. We have a firmament. We're in a bubble already. And who knows? Maybe the bubble of the firmament is in another bubble and another bubble. You just don't know. But yes, we're going to get smaller bubbles all over the place. And it's to combat this heat because it is getting extremely hot, dangerously hot. I was in Georgia and it felt like flames was hitting me in the face and flames hitting me in the back. I'm like, whoo, scorching hot. So this is what we're going. And the way they're gonna get this thing going is this. It's gonna be floods. It's gonna be floods. I told y'all way back when I said it's gonna be great floods. Oh, wasn't I right when I did that reading? And I want to come back to the table and pull the cards out and everything and do some more readings. You know, and I saw this mass destruction of this like bombings and stuff taking place. And we were like thinking, oh my God, is this outside? It was all inside. I got to talk kind of vague, you know what I mean? I went traveling. I traveled. I didn't go on my crescent moon phase. The moon looked like it was like it was waning. Look, y'all, from a full moon waning. I think it had been a full moon about 3 or 4 days before I went on my travel. And when I went, I was like, it was just like I'm talking to y'all. I was like, oh my God. I said, I'm traveling. I looked at the ground and there was grass cuttings. It looked like it was kind of like either getting day or night. And the grass looked different there. They look I can't explain what they look like, but it was like grass shavings on the ground. Almost looked like it just didn't quite look like what our grass looked like, but it did. It was green. It was really, really thin blades of grass, very thin. And I reached down and I got me some in my hand. But I noticed I was carrying a child with me. I was carrying a little boy. I think it was my grandson. I think I carried my grandson on the trail with me. And I remember telling my daughter, I said, you know what? I think I carried your baby on a travel with me. And I always talk to him when I'm leaving. I don't want him to be sad. Okay. So I will always tell him grandma's going to the moon. And I would point up there. I would show it to him. I said, grandma's on her way to the moon. Anytime you don't see grandma, know she's on that moon, okay? He said, okay. He said, you going to the moon now? I said, yeah. And I remember when he was 2, he was asking me, he said, grandma, is there a chair on the moon? I got a feeling we buffering because we're going down from 30 views down to 19. They're just going down. Are y'all experiencing buffering? Because I used to get that a lot when I stay on long, buffering begins. And he says, is it a chair so you can sit down, Grandma? I said, yeah. He said, because I don't want your knees and feet to hurt. I said, yeah, Grandma got a chair up there. Grandma got a bed or what have you up there. He said, okay. And so I can go home without him having a fit. Because I mean it's gotten so bad when we leave and everything, he done got to the point he don't say nothing because he be like, Grandma, can you promise me you'll never leave? And I said, Grandma can't promise you that because she's got to go to the moon. And so when I get up and leave, he'll act like he don't see me. So I just grab his little toes. Grandma going to the moon, okay? Oh, bless his heart. I'm loving this stage because I know it's going to be gone soon. When they become adolescents, they begin to distance themselves. You know what I mean? But yeah, I went on a travel. And I'm going to tell you what I saw. I saw a bunch of men protesting and taking the streets. It was so many. I only saw one woman there, but it was so many men packed in the streets. They had enough. Because this civil unrest is not only just going on here, it's cosmic. It's going on in many planes, many realms. Because right now there's a cosmic war going on right now. So everything is a little bit, skittish right now here because it's going on up there. So the rulership is coming down. This is why you find your gazillionaires here now fighting to change the rules of everything. They want to change everything because they know that the civilization is falling. I think this civilization is about what, a good 400 or 500 years, and every great empire must fall. And that's what's going on here. So they're hoping to revise before it falls, but never in history was any civilization able to be revised. They always come down. Babylon is coming down before your very eyes, and they're fighting. They're fighting. These oligarchies are trying to rule the fucking world. They want to be global leaders, and it shall fail. It shall fail. So it's just a waste of time. Okay, it's not buffering Alexander. Okay, that's good to know. Crystal clear, Empress says. Good, good, good. Okay. So I guess it wasn't any more questions. Oh, Tay, let's talk about it. Tay says AI is gaining its own consciousness. They see it and not listening and scamming. Spiritualists would need to create a platform or app just for that. Nandy said that. Well, they have a lot of apps out there that can create you your very own app. I saw one and I created and it was very beautiful. I was like, "Oh, I want this," but I didn't want to just commit and buy right then. But the reason why, because a lot of people don't have room on their phones for apps. I could say I got my own app, y'all. Well, I'm on an app with Wix, and nobody's necessarily downloading it. So a lot of things that I put, a lot of the blogs and posts that I put on my app with Wix and stuff is not getting any kind of attention because they make you sign and down. They make you download the app into your phone and sign up for it. A lot of people can't do that. So that's why I decided that nah. But more people are going to apps and getting rid of their websites. Websites will be a thing of the past. It's going to be about the apps soon. Every individual will have their own apps, you know? So y'all heard it from me first. Um, yeah. Y'all that this AI consciousness is crazy. I had an issue. I went to a hotel and it was supposed to be pet friendly. Lots of people had pets. But the next day, we get a phone call while we in the room. Y'all got a dog up there and y'all supposed to have no dog. My manager told me y'all got to get up out of here. That's what I heard Miss Wood answer. I went down there and I was like, okay. I said, ma'am, you're on a pet friendly site on bookings.com. Well, can you show it to me? I said, I can't show it to you because your manager went in there and took it down. But I do have a screenshot. I show her the screenshot of them being in that. It said pet friendly. And so she bowed down. She was very kind to me. My husband didn't get that kindness. And my son went down that time. I said, Mom, I took care of Mom. I took care. I went down there and I told her. I said, if we still got to pay $302 and all you did was got a good argument in it, you just wasted your time. So I went down there and I talked to her. And she was like, well, y'all gotta go. Y'all gotta go. That's what she told my son when she came to me. I told her and showed her what she had on there and stuff. She said, well, I'm telling y'all gotta go. You ain't we taking the whole $302 because y'all broke the rules. Mind you, we was only there one night. And we paid a pet fee. So anyway, I went and I gathered my thoughts. I came back. And I said, ma'am, you need to call your supervisor, your manager, and let her know that we're going to dispute these charges if you think you're going to let me stay here one night and take off with 3 nights worth of uh, money and $100 deposit. You need to call her. She calls and she says, okay. She said that She'll take 2 nights, and if she wasn't talking like that in the beginning, she done changed the tune. She's gonna take 2 nights off. I said, okay. What about the deposit? We put a cash deposit. Well, y'all can't get that back. I said, okay, that's fine. By the time I got ready to leave, she said, listen, y'all just dispute these charges. So my husband, he called, and he spoke to his bank and said, look, this place lied to us. They took 3 nights from us. We only got 1 night, and we need to dispute these charges. He said, well, nothing we can do now. It's pending. And he was furious. $302. And we only stayed in there 1 night. And I had to wind up going to another hotel that was pet friendly. And it was nasty. I didn't like it in there. So, and matter of fact, I had to pay $200 to board my dog and my bird with me for 1 night in a filthy hotel. Yuck. And so, it's the most disgusting place I've ever been in my life. I'm just, just itching thinking about some of the things. Y'all, I can't even tell y'all some of the disgusting things. The towels were dirty. It was like, oh. So anyway, I'm like, I only been here 1 night, and I'm out of so far $500. So we go ahead, we suck it up. I stay in this disgusting place because I have a pet with me, and my options were limited. So I'm in this place with my dog. Floor's sticky because they had just varnished, and I had to smell the shellac all night because they had just varnished the floors, y'all. You can see the foot tracks and stuff like that. It was just disgusting. And so check your stars. Now, when you with pets, sometimes you can really have problems. The next time, I think I want to take my dog to the dog hotel or something like that. I don't know. I can't find anybody to watch him. I do have a couple down there to watch him, but they old, and they get too clingy with him because sometimes he goes down there. I don't want them to think that they can hold on to him. I don't know what their state of minds are at. So, anyways, it's over with. We're on our way home because we went to South Carolina and we had an amazing time. I had a great time, but there were 2 people would not let me outlive those. They call them crabs. Crabs. I call them crabs. But they had a table full of crabs, you know what I mean? And crabs that you eat. Okay. And so I sit to the table, and my son-in-law gives me 2. And then my son-in-law's mother gives me 2. And I grab one off the table. And my son-in-law's father, pops the whole crab open. So, because he said he don't want me to get sick, and showing me the stuff inside the crab. And I'm going to put that video up. Dead man. He said, don't eat dead man. And I said, okay, there was some stuff in the crab called dead man. You don't eat it, or he said you get sick, or you can. And then he said, get to the meat. It's the only part you should eat is the meat. So I'm sitting here eating these 5 crabs, as they say. And one of them wouldn't let me live it down. She said, she tearing them crabs up. She tearing them up. And then the other one, because they have an accent, like an island accent. The other one's behind me. He said, you've been eating crabs. You talking about we don't need to show you how to eat them crabs. You eating them crabs like you've been eating them all your life, mama. So it was crazy. So, left me feeling kind of weird. I'm like, oh, did I overdo it? Did I overextend myself? Because they say you never overextend yourself around strangers when they show you generosity and stuff like that. So I had that going on, y'all. And my natural father side of the family mad with me, honey. They really mad. They big mad because they kept inviting us to their 4th, which I told them in the beginning because we all went to a concert together, and I had told them from the beginning. I said, "Hey, look, y'all, I'd love to go, but we can't." Mr. Williams said, "We're going to South Carolina." I said, "Yeah, I'm going to South Carolina." And I kept getting these texts back to back from all of them. You coming? You coming? You coming? To the 4th, and then I kept saying, "I gotta go to South Carolina, y'all. They don't want nothing to have do nothing to do with me no more." They quiet and saying that they was real upset because I couldn't go with them Father's Day to go to Tennessee to visit my uncle, and I could not, go there, whatever. So I guess they feel like, I'm trying to be funny or something like that. I don't know, but I'm the type of person. I'm gonna tell you I can't make it. And I'm hoping that you can understand that. I've never been in a situation where I had so many people inviting me to things, even though I invited myself to South Carolina. I invited myself up there. My son, I said, "We going to South Carolina." I said, "I want to come. I want to come." His auntie looking at me, they looking at me, and I come through the door and everything. Say, "Oh, we knew you was coming." I said, "Yeah, I know y'all didn't invite me. I know I invited myself and everything, but I just want to be around good people. You know what I mean?" She said, "Oh, come on in here. Come on here. We know y'all was coming." She was real sweet to me. She was very, very hospitable. Oh my God, it was just so much love in there. And that's just something I needed for the moment. You know what I mean? And so, they just really, man, they really got down. I got some film footage I shared with you all. I was, that first day, the 4th of July, we went in there, really felt uncomfortable, but I'm the type of person I can go in big settings and stuff like that. I'm not uncomfortable. My daughter was uncomfortable. She had to be there for her husband because that's his family and stuff. But I can just really go in crowd, even though I'm an introvert, and I can find my way through it. You know what I mean? So I went in there, and I feel like, when people offer you things, eat it. If you don't eat it, they may think you don't want to eat their cooking, and so you don't offer me no food unless you know you ready for me to eat. Cause I ate. Do you hear me? So that first day they had barbecue chicken and stuff. They didn't have any pork, but it was like barbecue chicken. I had my barbecue chicken. They had fried chicken. They had all kind of watermelon and just everything. Some of the cultural cuisines that they eat in South Carolina, the red rice and stuff like that, which look like a jambalaya. Maybe they would call it a jambalaya in New Orleans. I noticed that culture is kind of similar, but not the same. And they were like, this is my mother's recipe, which she's no longer there. And oh my God, one of the matriarchs, she's only 65. She sat at that table and held her power. She said, "I'm the oldest one here." She told my daughter, she said, "I'm the oldest of all of them. You understand? I'm the oldest." And I was like, "Whoo, look at that power." She had her crown and glory right there. But anyways, I'm just not used to seeing such power come from, you know, a 65-year-old, but she was the elder. And so we ate real good, and I think, yeah, we ate real good, and the fireworks was just going off everywhere. You didn't have to get up and go nowhere to find the fireworks. The fireworks was in that neighborhood, beautiful neighborhood. The houses look like Cape Cods and stuff, which is different from us because here we have a lot of ranch houses and traditionals, and I don't forget the different names of houses and stuff. Um, Farmhouses here, and shoot, the names won't come to me. But they had lots of Cape Cods there. They were new. They had lakes, like a big, huge lake back there, a lake or a pond. I don't know what it was. And everybody had ATVs. So there's just a lot of people had ATVs, and they were dressed up like patriotic very patriotic with like the flags and streamers and everything on it. And they had a big, huge parade. They were throwing candy and stuff. And I was like, this is really a community here. They was throwing candy to the kids. Y'all, I got a fan. And I was just like a big kid myself, running out there getting candy and stuff. And like I said, it was fun. And those children, it was so many children there, so many babies. Like they said, babies. And they were shooting fireworks, kids like 9 and 10 years old. I'm talking about at that house, no kind of adult supervision. And Willa was over there. He took our grandbaby over there. And um I said run. They were taking these big fireworks that you were planting in the ground and run from. They were just holding them in their hand. That's dangerous. And Will over there with the grandbaby and stuff. I said, get away from there now. And then I told Kiki, I don't know why I told her. I said, your baby was over there by them fireworks. I said, they unsupervised over there. Boy, she grabbed her baby, ran so fast. And she said, well, I'm gonna get on them about that. And ran and grabbed her baby and was gone. I'm like, well, what Kiki at? So, anyways, those kids were just like holding firecrackers in their hands, setting them up and dropping them on the ground. I did that one time. A pack of fireworks, I lit them and they went off in my hand. This is the one I still got in my hand. I was in so much pain, I would not look at my hand because I thought it was gone. And then I looked in there, I still had my hands, y'all. I was like, oh, God. And it was when it was cold, like New Year's, so you put together the cold with the fireworks and you got a recipe for disaster. But yeah. So I had that situation with the dog situation. And so we had to go to another place that was like utterly disgusting. I can be around my own disgust, but I don't like to be around other people's disgust. Ain't that disgusting? And so the next day we were like back over there again, and they had this big, huge crab, as they say, crab boil. They had like on the table, like just so much crabs. And they had the watermelon again. They had shrimps and things like that. They was picking who they wanted to have the shrimps. Y'all come on, get some of the shrimps and all of that. Y'all come and get this. Y'all come and get that. So I wasn't invited to the shrimp table, which was fine. I said, okay, well, that's okay with me. I was invited to the crab table. So I had the crabs, I had the potatoes, I had the corn, I had the eggs, and then they had all kind of desserts and stuff. But we had a lot of fun. And then from there we left there and we went to Sullivan's Island. I got the footage for the Sullivan Island. So look up Sullivan's Island. I got a chance to go to the South Atlantic. Hurricane Chantel was on its way that particular day, so we didn't get a chance to stay long. So I did leave some offerings and stuff, and some beautiful flowers was like like these beach flowers were everywhere on the way over there and stuff like that. So that's what I went and unwound myself, and I had a great time. I learned a lot about the culture um of South Carolina, I think, Charleston. So when I go back again, she look like I'm gonna have to take a flight because we drove for 7 hours, and it was just too long. That drive was too long, and I want to go to Myrtle Beach, so I know I'm gonna have to take a flight to a place like that because Beach was another 2 hours. I think Myrtle Beach is like 9 hours from me. I got a chance to ride over the Savannah River. That was beautiful, breathtaking. I thought that was a treat too. So, but anyways, that was me. That was me. Hey MSA7, how you doing? Hey Z and R channel, how are you? Oh, seriously, Tay said most of her family speaks Geechee. So when I was talking to them, about the accent, I said, y'all got some beautiful accents. And she said, accent? We don't have no accent. I said, yes, y'all do. And I said, it reminds me of the Geechee people, the Geechee girl. She said, oh, You need to go to what she said, one of them islands or something like that. She said that's what a Geechee speaking people are. She said you can't even understand nothing they say, and all of that. But they don't really talk like, how they be them telling them yo tell you sort of whatever they be saying. Oh, yo, tell them yo just tell them the way they they don't talk like that. They just have like what you like an island accent, but not that accent like the Geechee people where you just don't really know what's going on. Alabama got its own little Geechee thing. My daddy spoke his own little Alabama Geechee. Who y'all gwine, you know? And but it was more simple. I've been said simplicity, but it was very simple. I could understand it. Go on, girl. Go on, girl. Give me something out that ice box. So it's some correlation with it because it's southern, but not to the extent of the Geechee speaking people. They got their own Creole. Yeah, taste says similar to Jamaicans and New Orleans. Yeah, very very similar. In their own ways. Even their foods, like I say, is similar because they live on the coastal areas and stuff. So all of them can have it. All from way from the coast of North Carolina, the coast of South Carolina, the coast of Georgia, the coast of Alabama. The people in Mobile, but they ran them off the coast. These folks down here in Alabama, some else, baby, they took over the island and called it Massacre Island. They destroyed all those island people off the coast of Alabama. And then you got the people on the coast of Mississippi, down there, Pascagoula, Gulfport, going all the way over to New Orleans, all the way to Galveston. All of those are the Creoles. hmm The Cajun people. Okay. Hey, Minaj. How you doing? Okay. Anybody got any questions? That crab boil was so good. Oh, crab boil was so good. I went to another crab boil from there. That's some place, some restaurant I went to, sort of like a juicy seafood. And then I had I because I was craving more potatoes. Mama little potatoes in that crab boils. I've been eating it ever since. Doing my own little version here in the house, like ramen bowls and stuff like that. Y'all like ramen bowls? I've been making it. It's a quick, simple meal to make up. I do the noodles. I've been getting a lot of ramen noodles and adding the sausages, the shrimp to it, the potatoes, the corn, the boiled egg, and stuff like that. It's been really, really good. And like I say, cost effective because food is going up. Hey, Nandi said, Empress Nandi said, speaking of Mobile, Alabama, I was recently doing a genealogy research and learned of an indigenous Alabama tribe called the Mobilians. Thank you for that information, Empress. The Mobilians. That's where them names be coming from, y'all. That stuff is staying with me. I'm just burping. Mm. Tay says, say, okay, sausage. Sausage. That's what I call it. My kids be laughing at me when I say that. They said, Mama, where you be getting that accent from? I said, it's this. They're like, another thing they laugh at me when I say syrup. I don't say syrup. They say syrup. Syrup. I say syrup. Sausages. Um, I don't say that. Some words I can't. Like they say Hyundai. Oh, she's driving a Hyundai. I say a Hyundai. A Hyundai. Or Morris. They say no, Mama's Morris. I say Morris. I don't know which one is right. Morris, or Maurice. I say Morris. Morris. I'm like, that's what it sounds like to me. But they laugh at my dialect. They think that's funny. Sausage. Is it sausage? How do you say it? Sausage. I hear him say sausage. Sausage. I said, they say coffee. I said coffee. Coffee. Where you from, Tay? I'm speaking that old dialect. My daddy was born in the 1920s. His mama was born 1899. So I have an old southern drawl. This is like going way back yonder. Mm. Yonder. They laugh at me for using the word yonder. I said, okay, you can't use yonder no more. Sit down. Sit down. No, mama, it's sit down. No, sit down. Sit down, let me talk to you. Tay said that's my Jamaican mom coming through. No, she actually spoke very good English. She had a very proper. She didn't. She had no type of accent. It was very proper. But my dad is where I get it from. Like I was saying, it was very this dialect was very geechy. He was go on, go, eat up them tater chip. Taking you too long to eat them tater chip. Go and get you a nana in there. Help me, you better eat them nanas before they get too dark. I don't like no dark nana. Let me go on in here and guan in here and make me a tomato sandwich. So Alabama got this little thing going on down here too. Tomato sandwich. Do anybody know what a tomato sandwich is? I bet don't nobody know what a tomato sandwich is. Anybody know what a tomato sandwich is? Yeah, Tay. She was a very proper speaking woman. She was a school teacher and a principal. And later she became a professor. Hey Timo, how you doing? Don't nobody know what a tomato sandwich is. Okay, Empress Nancy said I'm showing my age, but I know about yonder. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, hey, Miss Fletcher, how you doing? She said it's tomatoes and mayonnaise on 2 slices of bread. That's what it is. Yeah, there you go. Tebow is right too. It's mayonnaise, salt, pepper on a tomato with some bread. That's what it was. Tomato sandwiches was good, especially if you get a good tomato. You can't find a good tomato no more. I was looking forward to having some tomatoes growing and stuff, but I didn't have no luck with it. I ain't had no luck. But if you slice that tomato up real good, nice, sweet, juicy tomato, and put it on that light bread. Y'all don't know what light bread is, do you? They call it light bread. Put that on there, and like they said, put that little salt on that, and that little black pepper on there, and good amount of mayonnaise on it. It's like that. Ooh, wait. Seeds dripping all the side of your chin and everything. That's the way we used to do it. Hey there, Cynthia. Cynthia said, she said it was the white bread. Hey, Gail, thank you for moderating. That what it was, honey. That light bread. It was the white bread, So I don't know what the heavy bread was. And then Daddy would, he was a very country man. He was from Bullock County, down there, Union Springs, Alabama. But most people say Union Springs. But we call it Union Springs, down there by Tuskegee, Alabama. And so Daddy was so country, Daddy would eat what they call white meat. Anybody know what white meat is? I want to see if anybody know what white meat is. Why? Not the white meat off the chicken, but out of turkey. Anybody in here know what white meat is? If you know what white meat is, let me know. You really can't, Miss Fletcher. You can't get light bread no more. Me and Willie was talking about that. That bread in the store don't taste right no more to me. That white bread don't taste right. Ain't no fart going on. That's my leg sliding down this furry quilt, okay? So don't nobody know what white meat is. Wow, Miss Fletcher says sure don't. Let me tell y'all what white meat did. Okay, so when they cut the hog up to make bacon, you see what I mean? Alexander laughing. You get that back in the days, you cut it off. And we got a little buffering going on here. They trying to control these numbers. What? Cynthia said her dad is 87 and he talked like that. I was talking to my Uncle Charlie, my birth father's brother, and he talked like me. People's like, girl, you talk so old, girl. You know, it's because I was raised by an older generation. Once again, my dad was born in 1926 in Bullitt County. And he raised me, and his mother did too, Granny. Granny was born in 1899. So this is where I got my dialect from. You know, a lot of people tell me here, they ask me, where you from? They said, where you from? I said, I'm from Alabama. No, you couldn't. You couldn't be. We don't talk like that. So I have an older generation dialect. But yeah, they would cut and slice their hog after they done smoked him. And back then there was some thick cuts. Y'all be getting that paper thin bacon now. Well, it came to a part of the hog where it was white. It didn't have the red lean in it. You understand? So they called it strickling. Daddy would eat strickling. Anybody, y'all ain't never heard of strickling? I feel, y'all making me feel mighty old in here. Oh, Gail, you showing your age. Better be careful in here now. We got a lot of young'uns in here. Young'uns. And they might not know what we talking about. It's that slab of bacon. Heck yeah, they cut that. Now they cut it real thin, but back in the day they cut it so thick. Ooh, you talking about some good bacon. I done had that type of bacon as a child. But when you got to the white part, they cut that too. The white part, you can't easily eat it like you can the part with the lean in it. You see what I mean? So people would just chew on the strickling. And the strickling, you know, you could still have it, but it had a lot. It had more salt in it. The strickling, it wasn't really good for you because it was really loaded with cholesterol because it really was nothing but fat. Mm-hmm. And so they would have that strickling. Who know about strickling and cornbread and buttermilk? Anybody know about that? Do anybody know about strickling, buttermilk, cornbread? Tell you got me with that one right there. Ain't never heard of scrapple. That's a new one. I ain't never heard of that. Okay. Cynthia said her daddy still eat liver pudding and little boy oil sausage for breakfast. Oh, okay. That's another old one. Timo says she know about the corn milk and butter, the cornbread, I'm sorry, and buttermilk. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, y'all. Back in the day, my dad had a pink bowl. It was that big. Big old pink bowl. And my mom would cook him a pan of cornbread. Well, skillet, because they use black skillets down here. Some people might not, but my mom would use that black skillet. She put that butter and stick of butter in there and let it get real hot. Once that skillet got hot enough and the butter started bubbling, she would pour a cornbread over in it, the mix. Then she'll put it in the oven and you have skillet cornbread. And she would do that. And my dad, that next morning before he went to work, he would take his hands and crumble that cornbread up. And then what he'd do, he would pour buttermilk on top in that pink bowl. And then he'll have a plate of strickling. And that's what he ate every morning. Yeah. Oh, did you? Uh-huh. Empress says, she said that cast iron skillet is a must in any of my kitchens. Hello. And so people didn't have issues with anemia, because that iron in that skillet, was a supplement for the blood. You know what I mean? So if you cook with an iron skillet, your blood won't be so low, especially for women who have heavy menstrual. Uh-huh. She said, uh, Empress said they make skillet cornbread and they call it hot water cornbread. Okay. Oh, Miss Fletcher said that cast iron is a beast. Once that, you got to be careful cooking. And some people are masters of that black skillet. If you don't know what you're doing with that black skillet, it can burn your food up. Because once that skillet is hot, it is hot. It just, it's like how can I put it? It's like a cooker of his own, to tell you the truth. I mean, you can take that skillet off that eye with no fire and it's still cooking. You know what I mean? So if you know how to control that cast iron skillet, black skillet, or what have you, to cook everything, fish, chicken, whatever you want to cook in there, then you pretty good. Because you have to really monitor the temperatures of that skillet. It take a minute for it to get hot. So you can't put your food in there too soon. You see what I mean? And once it really gets hot, you understand, you have to monitor how much heat it receives because it will burn your shit up. And they got like cast iron everything, cast iron pots, cast iron cauldrons to make soup, cast iron muffin things. You make muffins and all of that in there. It's got a little bit of everything. Okay, some people have a whole cast iron collection where they do everything in the cast iron. Get your cast iron, hold on to it, baby, and don't let go of it. And it takes a lot to take care of them because you don't want to leave water in them because they'll rust. You want to, once you clean them, put some oil in them. They use the oil, the little cast iron skillets up and everything so that they won't rust out and everything. There's some rules to that cast iron skillet. Don't act right. The wife gonna pick up that cast iron skillet, go upside your head. It's just that cast iron got a lot of history to it. You know what I mean? Since it says she got a few cast iron pan. Okay. Empress said that her hot water cornbread is shaped like pancake. Yes, I've had that before. My mama and them call it pone. That's what she called it. She called it pone. Cause but she just put the whole mix inside the skillet and put it in the oven. But some people actually, make them out like pancakes, or one at a time. Everybody. Now let me tell you something which is very interesting to me. On my way back from South Carolina, through Georgia to get back to Alabama, there was a place that sold soul food that Sunday. So I got a plate. I had brisket. They gave me too much brisket. It was just enough to get everybody. That plate cost $25. I had brisket. I had macaroni and cheese. I had collard greens. And I said, I need cornbread. They charged me $3 for that cornbread she talking about, Tay talking about. It was a Timo or Tay. No, it was Empress. Somebody told me about that pancake cornbread. They charged. It was good. It was about that big. Yep, thick cornbread. Two with $3. That was too. That was crazy. I said that's crazy because usually when you get a soul food plate, it used to come with the cornbread, but they sold it separate. Y'all food is just too much for me, man. I got to the point I really don't want to go nowhere because to go somewhere is to spend some money. You're gonna spend some money if you go in your car anywhere. So I went out and I got a bunch of groceries the other day, and then had to go back out today and pick some things up because I got to get everybody packages up. And I was trying my best not to spend no money. I still was out of $35. I didn't want to spend that. I said, ain't. I went in Walmart. I said, I have no food in here, and this stuff cost me $35. Well, I said no food, but it was just like these little. You know how you had your little sauces to go with your food. That stuff is expensive, and it's all right. Got me some molasses and stuff like that. $8 for molasses. Salt $7 some dollars and stuff like that. I'm like, good God. I hate to do anything in that grocery store. I'm gonna have to start going to Costco's and just going around eating them samples to feed myself. By the time you go around Costco's a few times, eating all them different things they got in there, whatever you can leave out of there full. That's what it's gonna take. You ain't gonna be able to get no nourishment. I'll go to Costco's and get you a hot dog for $1.50 with a drink and a slice of pizza for $4 with a drink and call it a day. People are not gonna be nourished. Vegetables are skyrocketing, fruits are skyrocketing. Yeah, Timo is getting to the point. Mama gonna be just eating samples around here. She gonna have to put plenty of beads on so people can bow down for her or bend down backwards. I'm gonna have to be showing them all of this here and stuff like that. Could you please spare me extra samples of food? Because this right here, put them on the hypnosis. When they see this right here, and don't let me turn it sideways. Hello. Somebody told me, said, Mama, that's an eye. I said, surely. Or it's a fish one. It's going to take all of that. It's going to take every bit of everything to get by. This here administration is out of control. Hello, Renee's Secret Garden. How you doing? It's been a minute. Hey, no sheeple. Y'all, I'm just up early this morning. Just I don't know. I started out talking about one thing, and here we are talking about something else. One thing led to another. I'm in here getting up fishing for trolls right now and getting them up out of here. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Anybody got any questions? Tay says like liver pudding. So what you do? You take the liver and you just wait till it's tender and just turn it into a mush. Tell me more about the liver pudding because I've been hearing about it, but I never had none. And there's another thing called blood pudding too. They make that too. Okay, Tay says scrapple is pork scraps, cornmeal, and spices traditionally associated with Pennsylvania, Dutch, and German cuisine. Oh, well, thanks for letting me know about that. I'm going to look that up. Uh-huh. Empress Nandy said exactly. She said, I might have not got to the first comment. She said, exactly. I remember my mother referring to seasoning her cast iron skillets, and I have since carried on the tradition. Oh, sound like somebody in here can cook. I'm getting hungry now. It's time for some breakfast up in here. They said they do that with the wood board too, the cutting board. I think it's a cutting board. It's either a cutting board or that pestle. That pestle, people will season it too. So that when they putting whatever they putting in there to pound and grind or what have you, they can season that too. Yeah, Empress, I tried. I'm like a master gardener. Throughout the years, even on YouTube, they hadn't taken the videos down. You could see why I had big, huge gardens. I wasn't able to grow nothing. I couldn't grow anything. In the past I've been able to grow tomatoes, and those are tiny seeds from scratch. Jalapenos, what you call it, eggplants, all type of stuff. Collard greens, turnips, pumpkins, squash. Nothing grows. Too much rain, very little sunlight. Even my sunflowers, they didn't do anything. The man next door, he had some sunflowers. They didn't get big as nothing or what have you. But this year, I wasn't able to do nothing. I'm not giving up. I'm hoping to have a winter garden, a fall and winter garden. hmm I'm looking through the chat, y'all. Uh-huh. Yeah, when they say, I remember you asking for rain, you got too much. That's why I stopped doing it. I can go out there now, literally. You understand? It ain't raining now. And I call them the wind, the thunder, and the rain. And the reason why I won't do it is because you can't control how much comes out. That can cause floods. It can flood places out. People are finding out they got power and they calling on their power and stuff like that, and they don't even know it. They causing tsunamis. Monsoon rain. They don't know what they're doing. We all can call on these elements. It's just whether or not you are in tune with it or what have you, believing in it and the possibilities of the supernatural. You see what I mean? Uh-oh. Miss Fletcher said she had to stop growing and planting because somebody was stealing her tomatoes. Yes, that's what they do. I had one man coming in my thing stealing all my melons. I gave him one because his brother did something for my air conditioner, and he saw the melons and he just totaled them all off. I didn't get not one of them. So you do have people that will come in your gardens and steal out of them. They don't care. They don't care about all the time and effort you put into all of that. Oh, T-Mo, you are telling the truth. T-Mo said you don't. It's like you don't taste the nutrients in the food anymore. That's because it's all lab grown. They growing this stuff in laboratories. They going in taking the genetics out of the seeds and stuff and feeding it to a seedless this, seedless that. I had some cucumbers. I'm gonna stop going to Walmart getting them cool cucumbers. But I like the little small cucumbers like that. They call them. They got a name for them. They mini cucumbers. And I've noticed that the last batch I had tastes like shellacs was in it. I could smell the shellacs in it, and it had a funny taste. I said, they are varnishing our vegetables and fruits with shellacs. The stuff you put on your furniture make it shine and stuff like that. And to make your floor shine. hmm Hello, Universal Motorsports. How you doing? Okay. So since I see nobody got question, I better go. Gail says exactly something ain't right with these vegetables and gardening. Uh-huh. Cause they were showing one of them lab places under one of them greenhouse, big old huge commercial greenhouse, and they were showing how they were trying to keep the bees from pollinating on them and stuff like that. That's unnatural. Because they felt like if the bees pollinated on the flowers, then they'll produce seeds, and they don't want them to produce seeds. That type of stuff. You know what I mean? Okay. Emperor says, don't forget our godly power prayer literally changes the molecular structure of food and water. No, Sheba says she don't prefer to eat. Okay, y'all. Nobody got any question. Empress Nandi said, "Where is a safe place to live on this earth? Right here where you at. Don't go nowhere because your ancestors did all of this. Stay where you at. And let the, like I told you, let these cosmic forces continue to fight the war because they're not going to get away with nothing. These elites and gazillionaires are not going to get away with nothing. They're just not. These plans that they have in place, they will not work. Because right now we already rebuked it. All of us are going to rebuke every plan that they set in place. Hmm? And let the spiritual realm deal with this. We're not to be protesting, going out on these streets and stuff like that, because you're going to wind up with zip ties on your own. You're going to wind up becoming kidnapping in prison. So you don't want to be out there like that. Let the gods do their work. Hmm? That's what you do. Okay, Miss Fletcher said, "What do I think about the floods in Texas?" I believe, to some extent, those areas that's flooding out are some of the places that they're going to build some of their bubble communities. All of those places they got plans for smart cities and 15-minute cities are going to have some flood waters or fires. Maybe even earthquakes. They had an earthquake in Alaska. They had an earthquake in Alaska and they were trying to evacuate the place because they was looking for a tsunami. They had a 7.5. So we already know they got plans for Alaska too. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like I said, if you're a gazillionaire or a billionaire, you got that kind of money. You could put money on the table and you could decide where you want these smart cities to go, these 15-minute cities, where you want the detention camps to go. Who's going to go in these detention camps? You can make decisions. No money, no voice. See what I mean? And they regulate who can and who can't have. See what I mean? If I was to wind up with billions, lots of money, what have you, I wind up going to prison. Look what they're doing to certain people, certain celebrities get ideas to want to purchase big things like they want to purchase like networks and things of that nature, whatever. They always wind up finding themselves either incarcerated or worse, adios. They gone. Pierre, what does that mean? Wanting souls and souls. Mr. Me, you got me on that one right there. Mr. Me said, "What do I think about Israel and Palestine?" I'm at a loss for that. I'm at a loss. Anything that's outside of this situation we got going on over here, I'm at a loss. What's your thoughts? Carmela wants to know how many dreads I have. Oh man, I got about 30, 30 dreads. I never thought about it, but I do. I have about 30 dreads. Yeah. They had thinned out at one time at the top, but they're making a comeback. Y'all, I gotta go. I'm on 5%. Mr. Me says, "Do I support gay marriages?" I wish I could hang around with y'all. You know what I mean? I think people should be able to marry any human they want to marry. It's all up to him. We can't be marrying no dogs and cats and animals and stuff like that. But I'm not in nobody's business. I feel like people should be able to do what they want to do. And y'all, my battery's gone. And we reached 36. Oh my God. That is beautiful to reach that much. I'll be back later, okay? Bye bye. 9.